You went to the emergency room once. Maybe it was a pain in your stomach. Maybe your child had a fever in the middle of the night. Maybe it was a small problem that couldn't wait until morning. You stayed there for a few hours, had some tests done, maybe got a shot, picked up a few pills. A few weeks later, the bill arrived. You open the envelope. Your eyes scan the number several times, and then you start to wonder if you're reading it wrong. A visit so simple it barely even registered as a medical event has just cost you 2 months of rent. You feel like you didn't buy healthcare. You bought a luxury item you never ordered. This is not your imagination. This is the daily reality of the American healthcare system. The United States spends more on healthcare than any other developed country on earth. Over $12,000 per person every year. That's almost double what other wealthy nations spend. But spending the most doesn't mean getting the most. Life expectancy in America ranks near the bottom among developed countries. The money you spend and the health you receive have no relationship to each other. Where does the money go? Let's start with a drug you know well. Aspirin, a medicine invented over 100 years ago, with a cost so low it's almost nothing. In a hospital, 2 aspirin tablets can show up on your bill for $30. $30. You can buy an entire box at the corner pharmacy for $3. If that sounds ridiculous, let's look at the real star of the show, the epinephrine injector. This device has saved countless allergy patients. The active ingredient, epinephrine, costs less than $10 per dose. But when you see it on a bill, that number has become $600 or more. A beautifully packaged auto-injector, marked up 60 times. You might say research costs money. Drug companies need profit. That's true. But this story is more complicated than you think. Because between the drug factory and your arm stands an entire supply chain you can barely see. Let's meet one of the characters, the pharmacy benefit manager. The name sounds boring, but it's one of the most powerful and least transparent middlemen in the system. It sits between drug makers, insurance companies, and pharmacies, deciding which drugs are covered and how much each party pays. Its fees are calculated as a percentage of the transaction price. Note that. A percentage. What does that mean? The higher the sticker price of a drug, the more money it makes. This is not a system designed to lower prices. This is a system designed to raise them. You don't need an economics degree to understand that when everyone's income is tied to the price will never come down. And there are hospitals. The moment you walk into an emergency room, you enter a system where no one tells you the price in advance. In this country, you can look at a menu before you order dinner, but you cannot get a clear price list before surgery. The hospital won't tell you how much a CT scan costs. It won't tell you how much a bag of saline costs. You sign consent documents without knowing the price, and weeks later, you receive the bill that stops your heart. Here's the most absurd part. The same hospital, the same treatment, can have completely different prices for different people. If you have insurance, the insurance company negotiates a discounted rate with the hospital. If you don't have insurance, you receive the bill calculated at the highest list price. A bag of saline that costs less than $1 to make can appear on your bill for $80. Ask the hospital why, and they'll tell you it's a pricing strategy. And then there's the most expensive prop in this story, the MRI machine. In the United States, an MRI scan costs on average over $1,000, sometimes as high as $3,000. In the Netherlands, the same scan costs about $300. In France, even less. Same machine, same technology, same human body. Why does it cost 3 to 5 times more in America? Not because the machine is better, but because no one has any incentive to push back. Patients are too scared not to have the scan. Doctors are used to ordering them. Insurance companies pass the cost into premiums. Everyone pays, but nobody feels responsible for the uncontrolled prices. And part of the money you spend on healthcare isn't even spent on your own body. The American medical system employs hundreds of thousands of people whose job is not to treat patients or prescribe medicine. It is to process bills, coding, submitting, denials, appeals, resubmissions. This absurdly large administrative system consumes nearly 1/3 of all American healthcare spending. For every $3 you spend, $1 goes into the pockets of paper pushing. It may be the most expensive paperwork in the world. So when you receive that bill that wakes you up in the middle of the night, You are not looking at a simple medical visit. You're looking at the final link in a very long chain. Drug makers at the top. Pharmacy benefit managers hidden in the dark. Insurance companies at the negotiation table. The hospital's pricing department in another room. The administrative system at the copy machine. And you at the bottom, holding the bill, responsible for paying for all of it. Of course, you know America also has an excellent side. Top hospitals, top doctors, top medical research. People fly here from all over the world to be treated. But you're not a consumer in that dimension. You're just trying to live your life. You just want to be able to take your child to the doctor when they have a fever in the middle of the night without having to choose between health and bankruptcy. And that choice should not exist. In every other developed country, it doesn't. Only here do people call an ambulance and then tell the paramedics, "I'm fine. No need to go to the hospital." Not because they're actually fine, but because they know the cost of that ride could ruin their year. This is why your medical bill is so expensive. Not because healthcare itself is expensive, but because you're in a system that has been designed to be expensive. And the most despairing part is that you can't see it and you can't escape it. You can only hold your breath every time you open the envelope and hope that this time the number is still within what you can bear.